What's going on, guys? Christian here from CK Wraps. Today I'm going to show you and explain how far you want to vinyl wrap around an edge when you're wrapping a panel. There are variations to this, so I will show you two variations that I follow mostly. One variation will be less than the other variation of how far to wrap around. And again, this is all subject to how you would like to do things based off of A, your skill level, and B, if you believe that your edge is going to last and you believe in the work that you're doing being solid and secure. This hood, particularly, we just removed the wrap after just over 2 years, and we have a little bit of video of that where I was showing how far I wrapped around the other side. That's minimal, and that wrap held onto that edge extremely well in almost 2.5 years or so. Do you have to wrap around the edge far is the question. The further you wrap around an edge, you have to consider this, is that it's going to be more difficult or take longer to remove the wrap in the end. I do not use adhesive promoters or anything along those lines, but generally, if you have tension at your edge, you should probably wrap a little more around your edge just to secure the film. Just make sure your lines are straight and your cuts are clean. And this way, even if you do wrap around the edge a little bit more, it doesn't look ugly. The way I do it is extremely minimal because it looks aesthetically pleasing, but I also know that it lasts because I'm very comfortable with my work ethic and my skills overall. Let's start off with two areas here. And the main two areas will be your fender and your hood. These are there many other variations than this? Probably not. But if you want other variations, there's definitely more variations on my website. The link is in the top corner and the description below. ckwraps.com, guys, giving away 1 month free as always. So if you're looking for more detailed, insightful videos, open forum discussion board, check it out. It's there. Let's get back to this. Like I said, these are the two main variations. You'll find a lot of other videos that I have posted on other ways to do things. This edge right here, if we're wrapping the fender, I typically would trim on the hood side, okay? Which gives me this much film, whatever the gap is roughly, to wrap around to the inside area. While when I do the hood, I don't trim on the fender side, because obviously if I did, we would have a lot over here of all this to push in. That would look ugly, but that's obviously a unique situation in this case where most cars are not like this, but I removed the bracket that was here. So that's why it looks like that. But if I did trim along the fender side when I was wrapping the hood, we would have a ton of excess film that's just gonna look really ugly and more than likely bunch up as we put it underneath further. Which also means that you have to clean way further underneath than you should be doing. I only clean maybe a 1/2 inch or so underneath most edges or around most edges, and that's it, because a lot of times I'm just wrapping around at the very most a 1/4 inch, very most, which is roughly this gap right here. So first, let's show you the fender. We're using some of the Vivid Ultra Gloss. I think this one was called Nebula Blue. Warm it out first, and you'll see the film change. We're not worried about wrapping the fender right now. This is just pretend if we were wrapping the fender. We want to smooth this area out. Now, like I said, this is going to give you that extra film to wrap around your edge. And it's going to give you a nice clean line as long as you follow the line. See, following the hood all the way too doesn't make a lot of sense here. So this is where you would have to float your hand and keep it as straight as possible. For the sake of things and time, we're just simply doing this part of it. So again, I'm just resting the back edge of my blade, or the back side of my blade, all against the edge of the hood. Don't turn your blade into the hood. Obviously that can do some damage. And then we're gonna remove this. Now, what are we left with? Like I said, we're left with roughly a 1/4 inch of film. We'll take our heat gun again. We're going to heat the film up. You're gonna see it just drop down basically all by itself because it's pre-shrinking. It's shrinking on its own. It's doing most of the work for you. Then we're gonna come over the top, roll that over, and then you can either open the hood, which I usually do, or we can just get in there with our buffer, because you can't always open up things. Like if you're doing between the door and the fender, you can't always get access. So if you're doing the door side, so there you go. And then that will give us a nice straight line inside. So let's check it out. Okay, so that's your option. That's a nice clean straight line with plenty of film overlapping that edge, which will never fail. Okay, variation number 2. I'm going to be wrapping the hood side this time. Now this edge is very thin, and you'll notice that I've elevated the hood. Typically when I wrap a hood, I have the hood slightly elevated, but most of the time just unlatched, which does pop it up just that slight bit, which means that when I go to lift the hood up afterwards, it's very easy to release the film from the fender side and so forth. This way I can elevate the hood higher and do my nice cut that I like to do. I like to call this my invisible edge. But again, you only want to do this when you have complete trust and faith in your work, that you have no tension at your edge, and also that you're going to go over with heat afterwards and post-heat it. So let's squeegee this out really quick on the top side. And again, pretend that we're wrapping over the hood. This would be the same all the way around the entire hood, the way I would be doing this edge. I'm keeping the edges close together so we can kind of do a little comparison afterwards. For this, I'm just gonna put my wrap glove on. I didn't really need to with the other one because the gap was wider, but I want to be a bit more precise with this one. And I'm gonna just heat from the top, and you're gonna watch the film relax and drop down all on its own. Again, because there's no tension. We're gonna start with a pass over the top. We're gonna angle our finger down a bit more, or thumb in this case, a bit more. And then we're gonna come straight up and down against that edge. And the squishiness to my thumb is giving a slight roll of film underneath that hood. That's all I do. So by heating the film first, we're ensuring that there's no tension there, because we can see that if there's tension there. There are ways to know if your wrap is going to fail or not. And I have lots of videos on that stuff. This has a protective cap on it. I didn't remove it on the bottom piece, but I can see that it's slightly elevating here. It would be scratch-free, 100% scratch-free. Okay, and then now, just for the sake of things, to keep things in eye level, what I do is I keep tension on the film by pulling down and away. I take my knife, I rest it on the underside edge of the hood, just like this. And you can see right here, I don't need anything else but my thumb. But I don't cut like this. I actually rest my fingers on the blade and the edge of the hood for increased stabilization. Okay, keep going, always keeping tension on the film, and voila. Wait till you see how far around this is. It's not much. Now, once I finish off cutting around the entire edge of the hood, I put my wrap glove on, I heat, and I go over that edge another time. Or twice. Just for added safety and security. Making sure that I don't have a film that's going to fail. Now let's lift this hood up. As you move towards the left side of this edge, you'll start to see this edge disappear. So I call it my invisible edge. What is the benefit of doing this? Well, first of all, it looks super clean when you do it nicely. Second of all, it's easy to remove the wrap later on, meaning like you don't have to pre-lift all of your edges. Super clean, shows off really well, and easy to remove, and it also lasts. All right, guys, those are two variations, more of the main variations of how far to wrap around an edge. Now, if you need to, like I said, wrap around the edge further. We're more so talking about the hood side than the fender side, because the fender side should be enough. That 1/4 inch or so should be enough. While the hood side, if you have tension there, it's probably gonna fail. So make sure that you don't have any tension there, and if you're absolutely certain of that, you don't have to worry about it. You can do your cut and trim just like this all the way around, and you can have a beautiful looking invisible edge. I hope this video was informative, detailed, and helpful in showing you guys what to do and how far to wrap around these edges. I look forward to doing more videos for you. As always, I appreciate it. Take care.